parameters. So for instance, in this example, I've got a username. I say with my scanner, I get from this with a scanner user input onto the console. So I'm going to say enter username, and then I'm going to say scanner, next line, okay, and I get a U that will hold the username, okay, or I get a password, enter a password, and the scanner at next line will read the password and put that password into the P variable, okay. So that's what I want to do. Now, firstly, I've got different imports. Connector is the same as before. Driver manager is the same as before. But now I've got a prepared statement. Okay, so prepared statement I'm using instead of the statement that we've done up to now. So I've got two possible imports here. I can do import Java .sql.statement. So that's the one we've used before. But when I do the Java.sql.statement, then I can't use parameters. Okay, so the prepared statement allows me to run normal queries, any query that I like, with a parameter. So that is why we bring in a different import. Now what I'm going to do is, okay, I'm going to create, again, a similar template, okay. So I've got my imports, and then I've got con, my connection object, and then I've got statement, my prepared statement object, okay. And again, I need my try catch, and once again I've got everything in the same try catch, but that is just an example. You can use your try catch the way you normally do. And then this catch that I've created, I've just got a very simple standard exception here for all the errors, okay. So now between the con and the statement.close, what I want to do there is I want to create my SQL statement and then run it, okay. So I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to say SQL, okay, the string variable SQL is insert into users, username, password, and then values, question mark, question mark. So you can see here this is a normal insert statement. You know how to do insert in SQL. And then I'm not sure which values I want to pass in. The values that I want to use for username and password is going to be different every time. And in fact, it's going to be this U, which is information I got from the end user, from the console, and the password. I want to use this P, which is the password that I got from the end user from the console. So I had these two statements here, scanner next line getting for me a username from the console and enter a password, and then scanner next line gives me a password in the P. Okay, so I want to use that U and P. Okay, so now how do I do that? Okay, so I'm going to say, well, take the prepared statement as best as I could have done it up to now, take that SQL and create an object, con.prepared statement with SQL, the SQL that I've prepared here, okay? But now I want to qualify what I'm going to use instead of the question marks. So I'm going to I've got to, for every single question mark that I've got in my SQL statement, I've got to use statement.setString, and here I've got to do 1 and U. So in the brackets I've got to have the number for which question mark I want this U. Okay, so if I've got two question marks in my SQL, then this one refers to the first question mark. If I had a 2 there, it would put my U here in place of the second question mark, which means it's going to update the password, okay? So I want to put there number 1 for U, for the username, is going to replace the first question mark, okay? If I had 5 question marks, I've got to have 5 of these statements, etc. If I had 25, I've got to have 25, okay? So I've got another question mark, so I've got to have this statement.setString, and then 2 for the second question mark, and what must be in the place of the second question mark is the value of P, and the value of P is whatever the end user gave me from the console, okay? So, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to say statement at execute update. So it's slightly different. I've got to first do my prepare statement with a SQL, and then I've got to qualify all the question marks. I've got to have the numbers right, because the number 1 refers to the first question mark, number 2 refers to the second question mark. And once I've done that, I do the execute update, and then I close the statement and I close the line. Okay, so I'm just going to show you here what if you had anything else but a string. So if I do dot set double, I can use set double. Okay, if I use dot set int, I can use set int, etc. So you just have to know what sort of what is the data type of the variable that you're working with. So we're working with strings at the moment, so I'm going to set a string, and the second of my question marks must get the value of p. Okay, and that's all you do. It's very simple.